Okay, we are on day 2 of canning beef. Yesterday we did the ground beef from the old freezer downstairs and got 6 pints of ground beef, 3 of plain and 3 of taco seasoned beef. Today we're working on beef stew, and we're going to have to do this one in batches because we do not want this pot full. We want an even cook, so we want a single layer on the bottom. And this package that's in there now is actually from our 2018 cow that we butchered, which was Bob the Bull. And the rest of the packages are from our 2020 cow, which was TJ. So we're going to go ahead and get all of these canned up and ready to use for quick beef stews or broccoli and beef meals over rice. So this will be a time saver for me, which is what I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and lightly season this beef. I'm going to add the salt at the end as I can because I always do, but I'm going to go ahead and put some pepper just lightly. That shaker is not very good. It looks like I did a lot, but it doesn't come out very well. Some garlic powder and some onion powder, just to go ahead and get my seasonings processing with the jars, and then I can just season the vegetables and broth when I make the actual stew or whatever meal I'm going to use these for. So we're going to get all of these batches of beef stew done this morning and start to can today. Stay tuned. This is almost done. With meat, you want it to be cooked because you want it to get a good temperature, but we're going to be cooking this or pressure canning it for 75 minutes. So as long as you're getting that heat into the center of the pieces before you can it, I think you're good. Because you can raw pack meat, which means you just put it in raw and can it if it's small enough, because the heat for 75 minutes or 90 minutes for quarts is going to pierce inside that meat. But I prefer cooking it a little bit first, especially with this cow, because this cow was a little bit tough. Well, Bob wasn't, but TJ was. So with TJ, I wanted to cook the meat first, because then with pressure canning it, it's going to make it even softer. So I want to cook this beef stew especially to get it nice and soft when it can. So, but you could raw pack it. I've never raw packed meat before. I'm new to canning meat, so I prefer to do it with the cooking method. It just makes me feel a little bit better. All right, so this batch is done. And well, that was nice. I just broke my tripod. Okay, so I just broke my tripod. So I'm going to have to get through this one by holding it. So this should be fun. So I'm actually going to transfer this meat to another pot until I get all the batches done. And I could technically, leave it in this pot and then just cook it in this one. But I actually like the way this white pot here cooks better. And I like the lid on it, because the lid actually has a drain lid. So you can just leave the lid on it and drain. So I'm going to leave. I'm so sorry. I cannot hold this thing one-handed. I need my tripod back. I'm going to have to order a new one. Cannot believe I did that. But yeah, so you can leave the lid on this pot and then drain off stuff. So, and it's just, I don't know. I just like the way this one cooks. So doesn't everybody have a favorite pot? So anyway, we're going to put that to the side and get another batch going, and I don't know how I can prop this. Let's try. Not the best view. I am so sorry, guys. I will try to figure something out over the next few minutes before I start canning. But work with me here. I will go dig around and see if I can't find another tripod thing that will work. I have a big one on my ring light that will hold the phone, but it puts the phone so far away from me that the sound quality is different. And then my other tripods that I have do not hold my phone. And so then I would have to do it, you know, with the camera, and I'm not used to shooting blind yet. So I'm trying to get used to that before I start using it. So anyway, I guess today might be the day that I suck it up and charge up my GoPro and start filming with it and just film blind and hope it comes out okay, because I won't be able to see what I'm doing. The problems with being new to YouTube and not used to being in front of a camera, but we will make it work. So second batch in, let's get this cooking. Since I broke my tripod, I am having to use the ring light stand because it's the only one I have that will hold the phone. So it does not have a good reach, unfortunately, because it puts the way the stand is and the way it won't angle or anything. So I have to like push it back for you to see anything. So it's hard for you to hear. So I have another stand on order, and I went ahead and bit the bullet and ordered a microphone. So we can hopefully fix some of these like distance, close up hearing issues. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So I'm finishing up with the beef, and we're going to start doing the country style steak or chop steak. I'm going to go ahead and cook that too and go ahead and can it with the beef stew, because I know the beef stew is only going to take up a few jars. So we're going to go ahead and do both. I'm so sorry, like I feel like I'm turning my back to you, but the way the cabinets and everything are, like with this big stand, I'll have to like show it to you. I don't know how to do this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so my chopped steak was not thawed out all the way, so I'm going to go ahead and just can up the beef stew because I don't want the heat to get lost in the meat while it's sitting and waiting for a few hours. So we're just going to go ahead and do a small one, and by the time it's done, hopefully the chopped steak is done. If not, I'll do the chopped steak on Friday. It's not a huge deal. So right now we are filling up the canner with 2 inches of water, and then we will start getting our jars ready. Okay, I am not used to working around stuff in the kitchen, and now I have like 5 projects going and this giant ring light on a stand in my kitchen. So here we go. Let's get these jars set up. My water is already hot where I was just filling up the canner. And I'm just going to rinse a couple of these out. They were covered and in a box, so they're not really dusty. I just wanted to rinse them out, and then the other 3 I just washed last night, so they're good to go. It's a beautiful day. After all that snow and ice that we have had literally every weekend in North Carolina since New Year's, it has been every weekend. And we are not used to that. Like, I know up north y'all have constant snow and everything, but we're not used to that. We're used to basically 50s, you know, high 40s, low 50s, with it getting down to maybe 27 at night in January, February, and maybe 1 or 2 snows between January and March. But this every weekend thing, no, we are not used to that here. So I'm going to let my jars heat up for just a second with that really hot water, and then we will start packing our jars. I have hot water on the stove coming to a boil, so we're going to do the same process as the ground beef. Just pack the meat in the jars and put a little salt on it, fill with water, top and in the canner for 75 minutes. It's super straightforward. Pretty much all meat is done this way. So we're going to do this in pint jars, and I'm using my smallmouth pint jars because I only have a few wide mouth pint jars left, and I want to save those for the cube steak so I can get as big of chunks as I can. I don't know, I think I mentioned this a while ago, but my kitchen is just a mess. I don't like working in a messy kitchen, but sometimes you just have to deal with it. Because it's not like dirt, it's not dirty dishes and stuff, it's just so many things going on. And honestly, if you're new to gardening and new to canning and preserving your gardening, during major harvest season, like at the end of the summer, this is what it's going to be like. It's actually going to be worse. There are days when I literally have 5-gallon buckets all over my kitchen floor with produce in it that I'm trying to work through. It's insane. And unfortunately, I do not have a big prep area that I can utilize to lay out extra tables and put my produce out, you know, on card tables and stuff like some people do in their dining rooms and things like that. Especially if they have like a formal dining room, because I don't. I have an 80s ranch style house that's one level of living space. We do have a full basement, but right now it's just storage. It's unfinished. So our freezers and stuff are downstairs and storage areas, but you can't like work down there for putting up food. And our dining room we use, and since my husband works from home now for the most part with his job, he took over my office. So we only had one extra bedroom that was my office, and he has taken it over because with his job he has to have the computers and stuff spread out. And so I'm working at the end of the dining room table. So my dining room is now food storage, extra supplies, jars, eggs, freezers, plus half my office, and we still use a tea. So we're a little cramped here at this point. But when we can finish the basement, and when I say finish, I don't mean like make it like up here, but make it more usable for getting the food downstairs to shelves and stuff by putting steps in without going out around in the weather. It will help a great deal. Okay. So I'm gonna pull that one out, make the jars a little more even there, because a couple of them are more tightly packed than others. All right, I think that looks better. Okay. So our hot, clean water. Here is Cannon salt. Remember, it's a half a teaspoon for pints and a whole teaspoon for quarts. And then we need to wipe our jars. Sure the rim area is nice and clean. Make sure there's no bubbles. I about forgot that part. Try that again. And we're going to put our towel back in to take up some space since our canner is not full. So we have 6 pints. It usually holds 9 plus a little room. So that towel will help take up room to keep the jars from banging around. Now we put on our lid and wait for it to come up to pressure, just like we did with the hamburger.